Hi class, I wanted to make a really quick screencast just to show you something. I find that as I was reading your drafts of the first body section and looking at the way you had cited your sources, some of you were not quite sure what to put inside the parentheses, and so I wanted to, and I made reference as I made notes to you about using the in-text reference in Noodle Tools to find out what should go there. And I just wanted to show you really quick what that looks like in case that is not clear to you. I am in my Ben Franklin project right now, and going up to this menu bar at the top, if you will look at your list of sources, either you can click on this bibliography tab up here, or you can come down to components and click on works cited. Either of those things will take you to your list of sources, and the list of sources is what you need when you are trying to figure out what is going to go into that parentheses. Remember that that little nugget or piece of information that goes in those parentheses, that is the little clue that the reader is going to use to locate all of the information about the source on your works cited page at the end of your paper. So for example, if I am using a note card, I have two notes right here for this very first source, Ben Franklin, Glimpses of the Man. And actually, I think that's the one I told you doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, I have the note card. So if I click here, I can see what my notes said. So like if I wanted to use, if I had just written in my body section this paraphrase, in Franklin's day, scientists tried to understand and improve their world. And I want to indicate that I got that idea from this web page, this article, Ben Franklin, Glimpses of the Man, then I'm going to need to know, I'm going to have to put something in the parentheses right after that paraphrase to indicate which source that came from. It works the same way if I had wanted to actually use this quote. The only difference is that I would actually use the quotation marks to indicate that these were the exact words I saw in that article and not my paraphrase. If I don't have quotation marks, then it's understood that I have paraphrased that idea and I'm giving credit for the idea. But anyway, I'm looking at, if I was going to use that information, I need to give credit for this website. So I'm looking at my bibliography screen, and I come over here to the right side of the page, and you see how I've got some options. I've got edit if I needed to change, add some information to that source, or which some of you need to do. I've given you notes about you need to go back to the web page and find out what the article name is, see if you can find an author, and I told you should watch the video that I have about making a citation from a web page if you're not real sure, where to find that stuff on a website. Please watch that video. I go through that process for you. But if you need to, if I've told you to add something, this is that edit button I'm talking about when I give you a note. And then we have right here, in-text reference. This is what I'm talking about. If you will click that button, look what happens. You get a window that opens up, which is going to give you lots. If you read this, you will find basically all of the ways that you might end up referring to that source. Like, for example, if you have, if you use it in the sentence, if you say something like, in the article, Ben Franklin, Glimpses of the Man, and then you lead into the idea with that, then you would not have to put anything in your parentheses. But, this will just give you, this will talk all about that. So you need to read it. I mean, I can't, you've got to read, you've got to look at, the information, and then if you have a question about it, please ask me, but you do need to look at it and read about those different choices. It's just much easier, I think. I mean, I can give you examples all day in class about that, but it's really, I find, just hard to kind of get that into your mind until you're trying to do it. And so when you're trying to do it and you come here and you read this explanation, it will make more sense, I hope. If it doesn't, please email me and ask. But right here, you'll see that if I had wanted to use that quotation or that paraphrase, we would come into the end of that, and then I would put a parentheses, and then this is what I would put: Ben Franklin, glimpses of the man, and then close parentheses and period. And the reason I'm putting that is because basically that, with the information that I have for this particular source, that is going to be the item, that's the article title on the website, that is going to be the item that is first in that reference. And so that's going to be the first thing, people see when they're looking at that list. Remember, on the samples I gave you, if you'll look at that, you'll see that the first word of the source on the works cited is not indented, but like any second line is. And the reason they do that is so that this little piece of information is going to catch your eye when you look at that works cited. And just to further help you, if it helps you, we're not quite ready to deal with making our works cited. We've got to do some things before we're ready for that, and I'm going to give you instructions when it's time. But if you just need to give yourself an idea of what the works cited is going to look like, you can always click this little button right here, and you can just do a preview, and you can see it, and you can look right there, see how that's what that's going to look like, and that's going to help the reader, when they come to that parentheses, to know to go over here, and this is what they're looking for. So I just wanted to let you see that real quick. Some of you, hopefully that'll be helpful to you, but just to make sure that my notes are making sense and helpful to you. But if you find that you've got a question about something you need to add to a source, about what to put in those parentheses, please email me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks.